Hello everyone, for this lesson I'll show you how to find slopes and y-intercepts of a line and how to graph lines. Okay, so let's say I have this coordinate plane and I'm going to graph a line on it. There it is. And I want to find the slope of this line. Okay, so I want to find the slope. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, the best way to do it is to pick off points off the line, right? Nice points. I would pick the ones that are right at the corner. Right? For example, I would pick this one here. Okay, and the coordinates of that point is 3, 5. Okay, 3, 5. And let's pick another point. Maybe this one here, right? Right at the corner. And the coordinates for that point will be 0, 3. Okay? So now we can use the slope formula, and if you recall, the slope formula is just m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so we go back and label our points, right? I'm going to call this x1, y1, right? So x1 is 3, y1 is 5. So make sure the subscript matches, right? The 1 and the 1. And then I'm going to call this one x2, y2, right? So the 2 matches with the 2. Okay, so now we can go ahead and plug in the values for y2, y1, x2, and x1, right? So y2 is 3, right? Minus y1 is 5, right? And divided by x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is 3. Okay, so this comes out to 3 minus 5 is negative 2. And 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So the slope comes out to positive 2 over 3 because you have a negative over a negative. Okay? That means from the y-intercept right here, right, you're going to go 3 units to the right and 2 units up. Okay? So this indicates you're going to go 3 units to the right and then you're going to go 2 units up. Right? If this were a negative 2, you would have gone down 2 units, right, instead of going up. Okay. Alright, let's take a look at a different problem. Let's say I have 9x minus 2y and it's equal to 10. Okay. And from here I want to find the slope. Right, and the y-intercept. Okay, and now we don't have a graph to look at like before. We only have this equation here, 9x minus 2y equals 10. So the first step is to put this in the slope-intercept form, right, which is y equals mx plus b. Right. So in order to do that, we will look at the equation and we want to solve for y, right? Get y by itself. So I would, in this case, minus 9x to both sides. Okay. Alright, and now you have just the negative 2y, right? And it's equal to the negative 9x and plus 10, right? Because this 9x and negative 9x, they go to 0, right? Now it's just one step left to do, and we will divide both sides by negative 2, right? This by negative 2 as well as the 10. Okay, so now this and this go to 1, right? So we're left with just the y, and this is negative 9 over negative 2, so that's just 9 over 2, and then you have your x, right, plus, well, it's plus minus, so it's going to be just a minus 10 over 2, which is just 5, right? So this matches exactly with our slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b, right? So the m, right, this is the m, it's the number in front of the x, or the coefficient, right? That's the mathematical terminology for it. And the 9 over 2 is the m, right? So that's your slope, right? So my slope is 9 over 2. And now we can find the b. Well, the b here is the negative 5, right? You always take the sign that corresponds to the number, or the sign that's to the left of it, right? So it's negative 5 here, right? So b, the y-intercept, is negative 5. Okay? And that's how you find the slope and the y-intercept of an equation, right? So the goal is to put it into this form here. Y equals mx plus b, right? So we're done with this problem and we're pretty happy. Big smile. Now let's take a look at another problem. Let's say we have 3x plus half y equals 5, right? Again, I want to find the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so what I want to do is solve for y. I want it to be in terms of, well, y equals mx plus b, right? So that's my goal. So I'm going to minus 3x to both sides, right? Here we go. Right, so now this 3x and this negative 3x, they go to 0, so we can just take those away, right? And then you have a half y equals, I like to rewrite it over, right? Put the negative 3x in the front, and then it's a positive 5, right? Plus 5. It's implied it's plus because there's no sign there, right? So now there's only one step left to do. Now you can either divide this by 1/2, right? Both sides by 1/2, or an easier trick or an easier way to do this is to multiply by the reciprocal of 1/2, which is 2 over 1. Okay, but I have to do the exact same thing to both the negative 3x and the plus 5. So that's why I put the brackets there. Right, so now let's do this out real quick, right? 2 over 1 times 1/2, that's just 1 over 1, right? So that's just y. So done. We're done on the left hand side. Now here we have to use the distributive property, right, carefully. So 2 times negative 3x is negative 6x, okay? And 2 over 1 or 2 times the 5 gives us positive 10, okay? So now we have our equation that looks like this, okay? Like the slope-intercept form, right? Or the slope-intercept formula. So now we can just pick off the m and the b, right? So the m, right, it's just the negative 6. So m is the negative 6 right here, okay? And the b, or the y-intercept, is the 10, or positive 10. We can just write 10. Right? And that's it. That's the slope and that's the y-intercept. And we're done. And we're happy. Alright, let's say we have the slope is negative 1/4 and the y-intercept is 1. Right? So that's given to you, right? The slope and the y-intercept. And we're going to use this information and graph a line from it, right? So the best way to do that is to start with the y-intercept, this guy here, b equals 1, right? So we go ahead and make, or plot that point, right? So we go to the y-axis, and we go up to 1, right? The point 0, 1, right? So that's the y-intercept. Now, the slope will tell me where to go after, right? So here, it's negative 1 over 4. So I'm going to go 4 units to the right. So from there I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then since it's a negative number, I'm going to go down 1. Right? So I end up in this spot here. Right? So first I went to the right 4 units and I went down 1. Okay? And then I can do it one more time, right? Go 4 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1, right? Which is right here. Or down 1 and 4 units to the right, right? So now once you have that, you can just connect your dots, and let me do that real quick right here. Let me use this here. A little bit better, right? And if you look at it, make my arrows here. That's the line that represents the equation with slope m equals negative 1/4 and y-intercept is equal to 1, right? And it's represented by this line here. Okay?